What might be a lot better than simply massaging or foam rolling in terms of that cellular pressure and the edema is compression garments. So this is something that you might be familiar with or have seen people wear, is like a compression sock that goes up to the knee covering the calf. Is very, very common, especially for like a distance runner. And the reason for that is because there's something that is called distributive shock. Now, it can come across in a variety of ways, but an example that's pretty easy for me to visualize, at least, so I'll share it with you, is that of if someone has like a spinal cord injury. So they're paralyzed from be it the neck down or the waist down. Well, then their legs are not receiving signals or any sort of communication from the brain. Now, our blood vessels are all lined with smooth muscle, and that smooth muscle of the blood vessels can contract and relax, and that is what's going to help us maintain our blood pressure. If, however, somebody is not receiving any communication from their brain down to their legs, then that smooth muscle in the blood vessels is not going to receive any communication from the brain. And in most cases, it's just going to completely relax. The blood vessels are going to be completely dilated, which means, enlarged. They have a larger diameter. And because of that, the blood pressure is going to decrease, and there's going to be a lot of swelling. Because if the blood pressure is low, then it's going to be harder for it to return back up the body to the heart. And a lot of that fluid is just going to kind of pool, with the help of gravity, in the legs and in the feet. It can also just happen as we age. The older we get, the weaker that smooth muscle in the blood vessel gets. So that is why people who might be paralyzed, as well as elderly individuals, might commonly have swollen feet and ankles and calves, is for that reason. So what these people can do is wear something like a compression sock. Now, the compression sock is going to kind of externally contract those blood vessels a little bit. It's going to add a little bit of pressure, increasing the blood pressure, and that's actually going to help that blood return back up to the heart, return to recirculation, and compression socks can be very, very beneficial in that regard. Now, if you have a little bit of swelling in your feet and ankles and calves, it's probably a lot less because you don't have healthy, smooth muscle in your blood vessels. So it might not be a huge concern, and you might not need to get compression socks to fix it. However, the idea is still there. That increase in pressure can definitely help as we hope to have fluid return into the heart to return to circulation and, again, make room for that new fluid to come in to recover. So it could be a very beneficial tool if it's something that you feel like works for you. Personally, I have never really struggled with feeling like I have swelling, or at least excessive swelling, or improper amounts of blood flow. Granted, I don't do a lot of endurance sports, and that's really, like cross-country marathon runners are more so going to be the ones who are using these things. And so I have never really used them. I don't plan on using them. But if it's something, if I've been talking about this sort of edema and it really is kind of ringing with you, you're thinking, wow, like that's exactly me, I have those problems, then definitely I would recommend trying some sort of a compression sock. There's compression socks. There are compression garments for your arms and for your hands. And I think there are actually companies that make full body compression suits. In that case, that could actually be a good thing. I haven't really given it much thought until just this moment, but it could do a really good job at, sort of rerouting blood flow to the essential organs. However, that taken too far is actually kind of what shock is. Usually, when we go into shock, our blood vessels constrict very, very tightly. Adrenaline causes our blood vessels to constrict very tightly so that we have a lot of blood flow to the central organs. And then really it could just, keep the blood flow from coming back because it's just all being squeezed back to the organs. So I don't know about the efficacy of a full body compression suit, and I'm sure it's more expensive than most of us would want to spend on something like that, but I do believe it is an option if anyone wants to try it. But really what I think would be most beneficial is just something that goes over your arm or goes over all of or part of your legs.